Hello me little ice gems. I noticed that the video that I did a few months ago about planning and journals and stuff was resoundingly popular, and a lot of people said it was quite helpful, so consider this to be a part 2 to that original instalment. In this video I'm going to talk about creative planning, why people do it, and how you can avoid some pitfalls that kind of go along with creative planning. Just talk a little bit about my own experience, because I know that a lot of people, as a result of watching that video about journals and planners, kind of felt inspired to get their time organised and get their stuff organised, and just kind of have a representation of what they're doing with the hours in their day and what they plan to be doing in the next few weeks and stuff. So I know it's definitely like putting the boot up a couple of people's backsides to get planning and get utilising these resources and tools and stuff. So consider this to be part 2 of the journaling and planning inspiration station, if you will. I suppose I'll start by talking a little bit about why I specifically came to a stage in my life where I wanted to have a planner, and I wanted it to be a paper planner, and I wanted to start experimenting with different planning systems and stuff. The first thing was that my business started to grow. My business really started to develop, and my audience started to widen, and I started getting asked to do things like interviews and things of that nature that were time sensitive. I started offering Skype calls, which I did not for the first however long of my business. I didn't offer Skype calls or anything. Everything was email based. But when I did start to offer Skype tarot readings and Skype spiritual counselling sessions as well in 2013, when I got my diploma, obviously there was a lot of time sensitive stuff going on, and it wasn't enough anymore just to stick it on a post-it note and put it on the mirror, which is what I did in the early days if I had anything time sensitive. It really was quite obviously time to move into a system that could help me with my planning and help me to make sure I didn't double book anyone and that kind of thing. So it was 2014 that I started using a paper planner. And I'd already been exposed to kind of the paper planning community on YouTube, so I'd already looked at, various different ways of managing your time using a planner and organising your life using a planner. And so I had been exposed to this weird and wonderful community on YouTube called the planning community, and also like the journal community, and the art journaling community and stuff. So I was definitely aware that there were some very, very sexy planner companies, and people were very into like collecting planners and trying out different planners and stuff like that. But I was very careful that I didn't jump straight into the money stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to go straight for a top shelf situation until I was absolutely sure that I was in it to win it, and it was worth investing in a planner of that regal magnitude. So I started with something from the pound shop. I just started with a hot pink planner from the pound shop, and it was a half-a-year planner, so I started it like midway through 2014 and it went through to midway through 2015, and it was only after that in mid-2015 that I swapped it out for my gorgeous A5 Filofax domino, and I've never looked back. But I wanted to start there because I wanted to let people know that there really is actually no need to invest straight away in a really pricey planner. I think you've got to get the hang of what your system is first, and you've got to understand what your intentions are for planning, and kind of, try and see if you can dedicate yourself for a year to a standard, like a bog standard planner, before you start to spend big bucks. I'm not saying that's absolutely like what you ought to do, but for me, I don't like to start investing in something unless I'm pretty sure that I'm really going to use it and it's going to be something that will be beneficial to me long term. Filofaxes are not cheap, so you've got to know that you're ready to make that investment. I suppose what I'm trying to say is I don't like to do something just because it's the thing that people are doing, and I don't like to buy something just because I feel like, oh well, other people have got it so I need to buy it, you know what I mean? I wanted to start with something really, really simple. It just cost me £1. I got a bunch of stickers and some sexy colourful pens, and I just started trying to make it work. I just put my time sensitive appointments in there, my social appointments in there, and it helped me to figure out how big of a window I had between different things to be able to achieve other stuff, whether it was housework or whether it was creative stuff or seeing friends. So it just helped me to utilise my time much better. I knew straight away that I didn't want to do electronic planning, and I know a lot of people do use electronic planners, and they really enjoy like Google Events Calendar and Evernote, and I don't know, I mean, hit me up in the comments with electronic ways that people manage their time. I know that there are lots of different things kind of coming into and out of vogue, particularly in the business world, for those who are into electronic planning. That is not my bag, baby. In the last office job that I actually did before I was able to take my side hustle full time, I actually used to book in appointments for an agent who went around the country, or went around a certain part of the country, and I used to book appointments for him with businesses, and so I used to use an electronic calendar to manage my agent's time for him. So anything like that cuts really close to the bone for me. It just reminds me of office work, you know, being an employee in an office, and there was nothing wrong with that time, and it was certainly, there's way worse things you could do with your time, and I was pretty good in the office environment. I did a lot of customer service and a lot of maintenance management and using bespoke systems and stuff, and I used to dress up like Miss Moneypenny, and it was, you know, it was okay, but that's not what I do now, and I don't want to do things that remind me now of what I did then, you know what I mean? I don't think there's any point in being a full-time solopreneur if you're not able to bring your maverick spirit with you and your inner child with you know what I mean? And there's a lot of things about the inner child archetype that you have to really put to bed when you're in the corporate environment. And when you work for yourself and you're self-employed and you run your own shit, I think it's absolutely the time then for the inner child to just come out, you know, and to let the inner child kind of have that airtime, if you like. So that's why no electronic planning for me. I wanted the inner child to have her way. I wanted to listen to what her needs were. And when I was a child, I was really about the stickers and the pens and the paper and the stationery and everything just looking so gorgeous, and the feeling of potential and possibility that comes from stationery and from that whole kind of vibe. You know, I've always loved that. So I decided to put that right at the heart of my planning and time management as much as I possibly could, and that's what I've sought to do. I realised quite a long time ago, you know, that if you want a successful business and if you want to keep expanding your business and if you want to have it as a full-time hustle, then you've got to become type A. And a lot of people were kind of born type A, but I'm not. I'm a reluctant type A. I'm a converted type A, you know. I'm type A because I want to do what I'm doing and I want to make my money doing what I'm doing. I don't want to go back to an office, and neither does my spine. I have a spinal injury that also does not like those office chairs and having to sit down, you know, in that way for a certain amount of hours a day. I can't do that anymore. So I knew that I had to become type A. I had to evolve in a way, but I knew that it had to be in a way that worked for me and was inspiring for me, and so that's why I moved very much into paper planning. I also found for quite a few years, even before I started my business, that I had started to get this feeling that I'd wasted the day, even if I hadn't, you know what I mean? And that was something that came into my mentality quite a lot, and it was something that I really struggled with, and I know that a lot of people watching this will know what I mean. Or, for example, I'd lie down in bed at the end of the day, whether it had been a work day or, you know, the weekend off with friends or whatever. I'd lie down in bed at night and I'd feel really exhausted, really just beat, you know, but I couldn't really think what I'd done. I couldn't get into my mind what I'd done, like how had I spent the day, how had I been productive, what had I used my time for? I didn't know. And this further compounded the feeling that I wasn't really doing anything and that I wasn't using my time constructively and that I was wasting my time. And paper planning for me changed all of that. Now I'm very much about looking at how I've utilised my time as well as how I plan to utilise my time in the future. So planning for me is not just about having a look at where my time sensitive appointments are and how much time I've got to maybe pop into town or do some housework. It's not just about that. It's not just about forward planning for me. Planning is also about looking back at how I've utilised my time at the end of the day or at the end of the week, so that I get that feeling of accomplishment, whereas before I used to just be very fuzzy brained about it, very kind of like cloudy headed about it, and I couldn't really work out what I'd done to utilise my time, and that was very frustrating for me. So paper planning has kind of killed that dead, which is a great advantage to it for me.
I'll just have one more olive.
Have one more, Dim. You're a fucking olive.
Do you know what the meaning of life is?
What's that then?
One more garlic and jalapeno stuffed olive.
No, I'm saying. Right, I'll let you get on. Right.
I love you. Every so often when you come across one of those people that's like, oh my god, you're a vegan, like what do you eat? I really sometimes feel like saying olives. Just olives. I really hope I don't have anything in my teeth. I can't be bothered to get up and check. But you guys love me anyway, don't you? I'll carry on. Okay, now I know that in the first video that I did where I showed my planners and journals and stuff, I'm going to link it below. I'm not talking about like the very first time that I showed you my stationery, but I'm talking about in the last few months the video that I did about planning and organising. I know that quite a lot of people had never heard of the planner community online before, and I like opened Pandora's box basically, and now all of these people are like, oh my god, the planner community is so fucking awesome. And I just want to say, with all love, okay, just pull back, hold your horses, just put on them reins for a minute, because I want you to know, before you end up balls deep in planner videos on your watch later list, that this is about finding your system. So don't be too tempted to do what other people are doing, and definitely don't feel like you should be doing what other people are doing with their planning systems, because it really is about you, and you've got to feel like you are able to make changes when you want to make changes, and you're able to find a system that works for you. The other thing it's important to note, and this is something that Romany from Romany's Realm often mentions in her videos, it's not about the pretties, okay? The pretties are a great part of it, and it's lovely, and the washi and the sexy pens, absolutely, 100%, go fucking ape. But it's not about those things, it's about the system. If the planning system is not working for you, then there's an issue that you need to sort out, because planning is supposed to work for you, you know? It's not like foolproof, it's not going to work for you 100% of the time. You're human, you're fallible, you're going to fuck up, and I'm going to talk about that later in the video. But you're constantly looking to either find a system that works for you and feel really happy with that system and feel like everything's going okay, or if your system is not working, you're looking to implement that better system, you're looking to tweak the system, you're looking to find out what is not working about the system that I have now, so you can tweak it and make it stronger and make it more useful to you. You know, it's definitely not about owning 600 different kinds of washi. It's got to be principally about finding that system that works and that resonates and that's helpful. Getting inspiration from the planner community, that's what it's about, and getting inspiration from other people and seeing the way they set up their shit and whatnot is absolutely not the same in any way as looking at their stuff and seeing it as a non-negotiable formula. Everybody's needs are different, and everybody's needs change over time, and that's why so many people love stuff like the Kiki K planners, the Webster's Pages planners, the Filofaxes, and, you know, Franklin Covey's and all of them. That's why they love binder planners, because as your life changes and your planner needs change, you can swap stuff out, you can change things up, you can continue to create a system that works for you. As I said earlier in this video when I was talking about my own reasons for planning and keeping a planner, it's not just really about time management. It is, of course, partly about time management, but that's not really the only reason, the exclusive reason why a lot of people use planner systems. And actually, it really, really grinds my fucking gears when I'm watching a planner video and I scroll down into the comments, which is just the kiss of death. Never scroll into the comments anywhere, at any time. No, that's a little bit of an over-exaggeration, but honestly, I do sometimes wish I fucking hadn't. And I scroll into the comments and there's somebody that said, well, you know, isn't it lovely for you to have all the time in the world to pretty up your planner and do all of this fucking stupid shit with it? You know, frankly, I use my planner to plan my time because I have a life, but if you've got time to pretty your planner up, then good for you. You know, you must be living the high life. You must pay for everything on daddy's plastic. There are some really cynical people, really mean people that go hard in the comments about this, you know, just basically saying that having a planner is not about prettifying it, and it's not about, you know, it's just about planning your time, god damn it. But that isn't true. That isn't true. That's only part of it. If you want to just use a planner to plan your time and that's it, that's absolutely fine. Kudos to you, bitch. But a lot of people do not use planning systems just for that, you know. They use it for inspiration, they use it for motivation, they use it to open up their eyes to the sea of possibility that lies in the next 24 hours that's ahead of them. A lot of people use it as a companion. I know that I do. I wake up in the morning, and after I've done my little morning business, my meditation, my altar time, my Pilates, or my walk, or whatever I'm doing, my running, I open up the Filofax straight away, immediately, and it's like, it is like a companion for solopreneur business owners who have to keep their own time and have to crack their own whip. It's very much like that. It's like, right, what have we got today? Okay, and how many hours have I got before I have to be online for that client? Okay, cool, so that means I can do the kitchen, I can do some laundry, I can maybe do this, maybe I can fit in a blog post. and I'm having a look and seeing what's what, you know? So it is that companion. It's also a discovery tool. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I often used to have these feelings of having not really utilised my day, not really done anything, or I was tired but I couldn't work out what the fuck I'd been doing all day. The planner system gets rid of that. It helps to show me what I've done. And the thing that I love most of all about my planner is that I can see what I've done with my time off as well, because I do tend to write that down, you know. So if I had like last Saturday and Sunday, I had the Saturday morning off and the Sunday morning off. No, scrap that, reverse it. Was it Saturday evening and Sunday morning? Yeah, so I wrote down that, you know, I went to the pub with my boyfriend, we had some drinks, then we got a Chinese on the way home, and then we watched some Vikings, and then I took Sunday morning off. I just emailed some people that I haven't had a chance to catch up with for ages, you know, just watched some YouTube videos. I like to put that in my planner so I can see not only how I'm utilising my time when I'm like on, but also how I'm utilising my time when I'm off. What am I doing? Am I having a candlelit bath? Am I doing witchy stuff? Like, am I out with friends? I love to be able to see that. I love to be able to witness the fact that yes, I did some self-care and I had some downtime as well, and this is what I did. You've got to find your why. You've got to figure out why you're doing it, you know, and what is it about planning that speaks to you. You are human, you are fallible, you will fuck up, you will misremember things, you will confuse yourself, you will put things down wrong, okay? The planner is not responsible for that. The planning system that you have in place may be responsible for that. And so it's important that you don't like, you know, berate yourself because you've got a planner and you still manage to misremember something or put something down at the wrong time or double book yourself. It's really important not to have a go at yourself for that, and it's important not to abandon the planning system completely because you tell yourself it doesn't work. It's more about having a look at either a mistake in the timing of something and having a look and going, okay, why has this happened? What has gone wrong here? Or it's about having a look at mistakes or inaccuracies that seem to occur over and over again, and then looking at the planning system and being like, okay, this is something that I just keep not being able to do or not being able to focus on or forgetting. So how can I amend my system so that it really works? And you might find that you need to colour code things, or you might find that you need to have a different planner for your social engagements or whatever to make things less cluttered, or you might find that you respond better to bullet journaling than you do to standard planning. You might find all manner of different things. It's about tweaking it. If something isn't working, it's about getting in there and tinkering with it, being that little engineer and figuring out what is going wrong. Recently I realised that I wanted to go back to actually writing the names of my clients in my Filofax. For a really long time I was just writing the order numbers down for the time-sensitive appointments that I had coming up in the future. And very recently I've realised that that's actually not a very good idea, because if I have quite a few time-sensitive appointments to organise, I do have a tendency to forget which ones I've already organised and confirmed and which ones I haven't. And when I can see the clients' names there, it's clear. It's like, oh yeah, I already arranged the appointment for so-and-so. So I'm likely to put the name or to put just one initial or something like that, so I have a memory, yes, okay, that person is confirmed. Whereas with order numbers, I had to keep checking back with my store provider to have a look which order number was relevant to which client. So I've switched that, I've changed it, and now everything is running superbly. So it's about that, it's about looking at like, okay, why is this going wrong? Why do I feel that this is disorganised? Why have I fucked up here? What's happening? And actually just go in and be like, okay, I see how I can make it clearer. I see how I can make it more beneficial. I see what's going wrong, and let me tinker with it and see if this works better, you know? So it's not like the very first planning system you ever come up with is going to be the one you stick with indefinitely. If you find yourself feeling overwhelmed or overbooked or really stressed out, then the planning system that you're using is not working for you. You need to take a step back, take some distance, just take a deep fucking breath and find the core. Recognise that your planning system is supposed to relieve you of stress. It's not supposed to pile stress onto you. It's not supposed to make you feel worse, okay? It's supposed to relieve you of stress. So that's the first thing. Okay, I've just grabbed the oracle so I can explain just a couple of things that might be helpful to you about my own system. A very healthy reminder there. I take one of these every single morning. I have a section of my planner that is dedicated to wellness, and this is where I write down my stuff that I'm doing for myself, my daily to-dos, non-negotiable things that I do to take care of my body, my soul, my mind. And I like to have a record of what I've done over the course of a week in terms of wellness, to improve my life, to improve my sense of self. This is very, very important for me with the kind of work that I do. And when I forget to do it, when it leaves my mind, when I downplay the importance of it, I suffer. And so that's why I do it, you know. And this is kind of what it looks like at the end of the week if I've had a decent week and I've really kind of allowed myself to have that kind of dose every day of stuff that is good for me and that is helpful to me. Recently, I've really wanted to go back to looking at how I utilise every single hour of my day from waking to going to sleep. I'm really interested in having a look at that and doing some experiments with that. So I've temporarily moved myself out of my wellness journal. I'm not using it at the moment because I'm now putting absolutely everything into my daily diary instead, so that I can really have a look at what I'm doing. Am I waking up and meditating and going for a run? Have I gone to the shop? Have I done some washing up? Like, what did I do with this half an hour kind of thing? So I just write things down as and when I do it. This is very easy for me to do because I'm full-time with my own business, so I constantly have my file of facts next to me. If I'm working at a coffee shop doing emails, it's next to me. If I'm at the library, it's next to me. When I wake up in the morning, I take it straight to the couch, and after I've done my morning routine, I open it up. So for me, this is not a chore, this is not stressful. Don't worry, concerned citizen. So it's helpful for me to be doing that at the moment where I've just got everything here. My system allows me to understand what really takes time, because quite often in the past, I used to really berate myself if I took quite a long time to do something. But what I've realised since I started doing paper planning a couple of years ago is that some things just really do take longer than you expect that they will take. For example, yesterday and then last Friday as well, I did quite a lot of official phone calls and sorting out official stuff. And I remember about a month ago doing a similar sort of thing and seeing that these official phone calls had taken like the best part of 2 hours. Like, it'd taken me 2 hours just to phone 3 people and sort some shit out. It's really useful for me to be able to see that, because in the past I would have just been like, oh God, look, it's lunchtime already and I've done nothing with my day and I'm so useless. But the paper planning system allows me to see, like, okay, I need to carve out a certain amount of time for official phone calls. They never really go according to plan. I'm on hold for a while. I normally find I need to take a break and have a cup of fucking tea after I've done a couple of them because it's kind of stressful. You know, it's like being thrown from department to department. So I kind of realised that, yeah, okay, official phone calls are not a 5-minute task. We tell ourselves that they will be, but they are not. They're time suckage, and it's okay to recognise that. And when you recognise that, you just lay off of yourself a little bit more. I mean, I would argue a lot more. So that's very helpful for me. Anything that is time sensitive is placed into my file of facts in advance. So anything that's an appointment that I have with a client, for example, that's taking place in a week's time, I will go to the appropriate page and I will mark that in with a sticker and the time and the client name. Now, anything that is not necessarily time sensitive, but which I definitely want to do, either imminently or in the coming days, is placed on a movable to-do list, okay? So this is the central kind of flap in my file of facts, and this is the little place marker that I can pull open at any given day. This says, with a cup of tea in your hand, anything is possible, which is very fucking true. Attached to the back of my little sort of divider thing, with this, using this very handy kind of like pastel blue peg, is my movable to-do list. Here it is. You can see quite a few things are ticked off on this page. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Oh no, I can tick off that. I've done that. Oh, don't you love it when that happens? And this is everything. This is work related, non-work related. It's just stuff that I need to do. So I can look through when I've got a window of time and be like, okay, there's things that I need to do. Let me have a look through and see what I need to do. And I can be like, okay, I need to call my bank. I need to launch this purchase option. I need to write that particular blog post. I need to do this ironing. I need to order a unit that I need for the bedroom. Like, I've got a list of things, you know, that I've been ticking off slowly but surely. Now, the average movable to-do list will normally last for a couple of weeks. After that, I will want to go through the existing to-do list and write a new one, which is just consisting of anything that has not been done yet. And I'll start again, you know? So the average to-do list has a lifespan of about 2 weeks. After that, it all gets a little bit cluttered and a little bit mental, and I just want to go through and write out a new list comprised of the things I haven't done. That really, really works for me. Once I've done one of the things on my movable to-do list, I will then write it into my file of facts,
because it's not time sensitive. It does not go into my file of facts before it's been done. It goes into my file of facts after I've done it, and then I can get that feeling of accomplishment that, oh, okay, it's in there, that's what I spent my time doing. For example, yesterday I've got quite a few things here in the morning segment that are not time sensitive. You know, I've got a bunch of email requests that I needed to send for something. I've got that I went for a run. I've got that I did laundry and ironing. I did some admin of my business group, and I did 3 official phone calls that I needed to make. I do have a time sensitive appointment in there as well from 9 till 10:30, and that was a client for a spiritual counselling session. However, all of these other things that were not time sensitive, I did them so they're in there for the morning, and that shows me that's what I did with my morning. Way to feel like an accomplished motherfucker. It feels so good. It's like, look what I did with my morning. My God, I even had time for a run. I pretty much rule. I like to use my file of facts to see how much I've gotten done in the space of a month business-wise. So I've got a list in here of all the videos that I did, the blog post that I did, and anything else that I put out. And I do that for every single month, so I can see what I'm putting out and how productive I'm being and what kinds of topics I'm tackling for every month. I've got lists in here of things that I'm saving for and how much I'm saving. I've got, like, you know, stuff to do with finances, although I do keep my accounts in a totally separate folder and stuff, but I've got, you know, things I'm actively trying to work out financially. I've got in here. I've got this little tab which leads to the Holy Grail, which is my wish list of tarot and oracle decks. Thank you very much. I've got a little inspiration station here. I think I talked about this in my last video, but this is just notes of stuff that I might want to do, or things that are inspiring to me, kind of stuff that is kind of like switching me on and making me feel like I want to do something. This says, good things happen to those who wait, or those who are willing to get up and get shit done, which is 120% true. I use a lot of stickers and a lot of tabs and a lot of page markers and a lot of ridiculous, cute little things like this. But I do not pretty up my pages too much. It's just literally a little bit of washi on the top or on the bottom, and then I just get to planning things. But other people love to pretty up their pages like overkill, and that's absolutely fine, you know, because that's part of what will inspire them to get moving. That is part of what they find planner peace with, you know. And in the planner community, the term planner peace just means that the system is working. You feel like the system is generally working and things are going well, and the planner is a credit to you and a benefit to you rather than being a burden to you. That to me is the essence of planner peace. That's what it really is. I have planner peace at this point in my life, and I'm hoping that this video will help at least a few of you to have planner peace in yours if you haven't already found it. I would love to know in the comments section whether or not you use paper planning systems, what's working out for you, what you're really loving, and what, if anything, about this video has been helpful to you. I hope that I've managed to switch a few light bulbs on in a few people's heads. If there's anything that I can say that could be of use to anybody in creating a paper planning system that's really doing its work, then I think that's great, because it's something that I really believe in, and it's something that's really improved my life. Good stuff. That's all for now. Much love. Blessed be.